We are live for game week 21. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Hello and welcome, team. Welcome to the chat. What is happening, my friends? That is surely too big. How's that now? Now, team, what are we thinking about game week 21? Excuse my cough, I've got a bit of a dry cough. Let me hear. Do we see anything coming up on Twitter? Any leaks? Hello, my friend, Bruno de Fernandez. How are you, sir? How was your game week 20? Are you in my league? Don't think you are. You should join if not, my friend. I'll send a link there and I'll pin it for you. Yeah, there it is, my friend. I'll pin it as well. How did your game week go, my friend? Talk to me. And how are you feeling about game week 21? Nice. I'm not sure if it'll be instant. It might take a while to update. But anyway, I'll be able to see it probably from later, but I'll go back and check in a bit. How's your team looking for game week 21? It's good overall, but I have to start with what you do words. Bruno for a hit. To Bruno Fernandez. Not for a hit. Even before he was sacked, Amorim said he expects some minutes for Bruno and Mount. Now, we all know that Bruno's a monster. He could start, you never know. And I know he's been pushing to get back. But The problem now with both Chelsea and Man United is the jury's out. You know, interim managers, new managers. You know, Chelsea have already appointed Liam Rosenior, so there's just a bit of a wait and see with regards to those guys. So I'm just having a quick play around with my team to see how I can get to like an optimal setup, quote unquote. So I don't think Ekitike is a long-term hold. Oh, I could still on these guys. I think Foden could quite easily become Shirky. I don't think I want Cunha long-term. Definitely want Palmer. And I'll definitely want Gabriel. Who's the Wolves lad? It's Mane, isn't it? Like, he could just be a... And then it would probably be Fernandez. Huh, you actually could make all that work, couldn't you? I wonder if it's double Arsenal. No, you can't make that work. So I think it would need to be either or with would who else would you want in midfield? Who's like the optimal team? Hey Saba, how are you, my friend? What's happening? I'm just having a play around with my team to find like an optimal setup moving forward. I wonder if Bruno is the guy. I wouldn't take a hit for them Man City at home and Arsenal away. I think you could definitely look to bring in Bruno in 24. That's a nice run. Oh, he's still there, Emmanuel. He is still there. Go back to my original team. He has just been such a troll. One of my friends has owned him as well, and he was just like, oh yeah, such a troll. No, I did well in game week 20, 69 points, and Minte actually auto subbed off the Wilson 6-pointer. So, hey Austin, how are you, my friend? Welcome to the stream. Chalobah or Nunez, Watkins or Pedro? Are you buying these guys in combination, or are you looking to buy them together, or are you asking, should you buy one of the four? Yeah, Chalobah and Watkins. Saba's already got in there for me, but yeah, Chalobah and Watkins for sure. I like Nunez, but I would worry a bit about the Man City defense because they do not seem to have any defenders. Like if we go to the Man City team, Ruben's out. So they've got their right and their left backs in Nunez and O'Reilly. Guardiola's out, so Ake's going to come in. I think Kusanov will come in as well, and he's not really a natural centre back, so it'll probably be a back four of Nunez, Kusanov, Ake, and O'Reilly, and then like Ruben, Guardiola, Stones are their, solid centre halves. Yeah, no worries, my friend. Good luck. Let me know how the rest of the wildcard draft is looking, and if you need any help with that. Yeah, I agree with Saba there. I'd avoid João Pedro. I think you've got like Palmer is the guy you want from Chelsea. Let me just have a think. Who would I be looking at from like an wild card? You could do double Chelsea defense. You could do Sanchez and Chalobah, and then maybe Palmer, or you could do Palmer and Enzo. It's a nice time to wildcard. Like I would make some big changes to my team. For me, I'd have to really have a think about it, but I could easily make a lot of changes to my team, and I'd make kind of luxury moves that I wouldn't use free transfers for. I'd have Shirky instead of Foden. I'd obviously get rid of Minte and Wilson. I'd hold Cunha for one more, but I'd be coming off him. Ekitike, I'd hold for Burnley, but then I'd be coming off him. Saka could be Rice, and then you could do Gabriel and Timber. I'd be getting rid of Raya and downgrading him. Yeah, you could build a really nice wildcard team. You could arguably have Saka and Rice. No worries, Austin. We're only halfway through the season, mate, and you've got a full stack of chips again. So an aggressive wild card could do you really well for the second half of the season. Yeah, you're totally right, Saba. And I have to admit, I have a bit of a mental block with central midfielders. I didn't want to get on Caicedo. Enzo I've had for a little bit, but I got rid of him quickly. And I've kind of been holding out on Rice, but like you just can't argue with the points. I could make the Rice move work this week, and I'm not going to because I love Minte so much. I just want to hold him for another week. No, I could make the Rice move work, but I feel like Liverpool at home. I mean, hey, Rice could definitely return. It's not the best entry point, but I feel like I can see myself bringing Rice in and Gabriel quite soon. A bit of trickster. Hey, buddy, how are you? Yeah, I've had a second Rice combo season until last week. I thought I was going to be interested. I read some heartbreaking stuff about Rice. Like 1 million managers have transferred Rice out over the last 4 game weeks. Like just killer, like absolute killer. And who's the other one? Oh, and Thiago. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, the DEFCON piece is a big point. And like, who would have seen Rice just coming out of nowhere with some of these returns? Like, how many goals has he got? He's only got 4 goals, but he's got 7 assists. So before the Bournemouth game, he only had 2 goals, 7 assists. But like, it's just that like ticking over, like 6, 6, 4, 1, 3, 9, 11, 3, 7, 13, 2, 6, 4, 3, 6, 2, 11, 5, 0, 17. Like, oh, and he obviously didn't play. But just like that consistency. Yeah. I mean, look, could have been worse. A 7-point delta is not ideal, but Bruno G is good for the next couple. You never know, my friend. Look out for Bruno G and compare him and Rice over the next 3 or 4 game weeks. It's a good chance Bruno G outscores Rice. Newcastle are great at home. Bruno G is great at St James's Park, and they've got some great fixtures. Team, if you've not joined my league yet, I've pinned the auto link at the top. Join my FPL Hawley League, and then I can check your team easily, and then we can have a chat about it each live stream. So yeah, just hit the auto join link at the top, and then you join the league. Thanks so much for the 4 folks who've already liked the live stream. If you could smash that like button, that really helps me and the channel. And if you're finding it helpful, please hit subscribe to FPL Hawley. That's really helps me in the channel. This is my first season doing this. I'm absolutely loving it. Already building a really great community with some of my regular viewers. So I appreciate you taking the time. And yeah, if you could smash subscribe, that would really, really help. Thank you, team. Emmanuel, a definite sell this week. Who can I pivot to? I don't think, as I believe, I think Iraola might have suggested that this is Semenyo's last game for Burnley. I think, to be honest, you could probably hold him. Spurs at home. Emmanuel, I don't think he's a definite sell. I think you could definitely hold him for another game week and then look to sell him, because you've got to remember we've got a good gap now because we have the FA Cup fixtures. So we've got a good period of time between fixtures coming up. So you'll have some time to really think about your transfers. My advice would be this game week is, unless you really need to, try and roll a transfer, because things are going to start to get really busy again. And there's some big fixture swings coming up with the likes of Chelsea and a few others. So if you can, try and roll your transfers. I have Wilson, Gordon, Rice, and Foden. Yeah, I'd play those 5 in midfield then, Emmanuel. Actually, team, while I have you, let me show you. So I've done the second half of the season strategy fixtures and stuff, and it gets pretty crazy. So we are here, game week 21, which is a midweek fixture. So between game week 21 and 22, we then have the FA Cup third round, which all of the Premier League teams are playing in. And we have the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. So for teams like Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, and Newcastle, they're playing 2 fixtures between game weeks 21 and 22. Hey, Savio. How are you, my friend? Yeah, it's going well. We've got some new, Austin and a few other folks are new. Welcome to the chat, team. Savio, this one's probably for you, my friend. Well, it's for all of you, but Savio, you said how much you liked this one for the first half of the season. But I've updated the second half view. So I thought that the first half of the season was busy, but my God, there is so much football the second half of the season. It's crazy. So yeah, 2 games potentially for 4 teams and at least 1 for every team between game week 1 and game week 21, 22. Well done. Then game week 22 and 23, you have the Champions League and Europa League match day 7, and then you have match day 8 between 23 and 24. Then between 24 and 25, you have the second legs of those Carabao Cup semi-finals. So that's Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, and Newcastle again. We don't have any fixtures between 25 and 26, but game week 26 is a set of midweek fixtures. Then between 26 and 27, we have the FA Cup 4th round, and then the Champions League, Europa League, and the Europa Conference League playoff first legs. So we don't know exactly who's going to be in that, but I think we know with certainty it's not going to be Arsenal for the Champions League, and probably not City, based on if you finish in the top 8, you don't play in the playoffs. But that could be Liverpool, could be Chelsea, could be Spurs. Game week 27 is then highlighted as a potential double game week. And I've had a quick look at the initial fixtures. I think Chelsea have a nice fixture here. I believe it's Burnley at home. So like if Chelsea double in 27, Cole Palmer could be a great option for triple captain in game week 27. You then have between 27 and 28, you then have the full set of playoff second legs in Europe. Then game week 28 and 29, game week 29 then, sorry, is a set of midweek fixtures again. And this is another potential double game week. And I flagged this as a potential triple captain option because City are at home to Nottingham Forest. So if City double in this game week, they've got one fairly favourable home fixture already. So Haaland triple captain could be a good option in 29. Then between 29 and 30, we have the FA Cup 5th round, and then the first legs of the Champions League Europa League and Europa Conference League. That's a round of 16. Then between 30 and 31 is the second legs of the round of 16 in Europe. And then game week 31 is our confirmed blank game week, and that's the Carabao Cup final. So that will be either Arsenal or Chelsea playing at Man City or Newcastle. So two of those four teams will blank in game week 31. Then it's crazy around the Easter period. This is this break. So between game week 31, so we have a blank confirmed in 31 for the Carabao Cup final. Then in between 31 and 32, we have an international break, the FA Cup quarterfinals, and the first leg of the Champions League, Europa League, and Europa Conference League quarterfinals. So if you are, say, Bukayo Saka at Arsenal or similar, you could play twice for England, then play in an FA Cup quarterfinal, and then play in the first leg of a Champions League quarterfinal between game weeks 31 and 32. So that's 4 game weeks, four potential football matches between game weeks. So I've put a potential wildcard here, just because it makes sense based on what we walk into, but that's going to be fairly treacherous. We're going to need to be keeping an eye on press conferences. The nice thing, at least with this, is that for the one international break we have in the second half of the season, teams aren't going to be coming straight back because, folks can be flying in from all over the place. So at least we know that the club fixtures in both the FA Cup and in Europe will have been played. So teams will be settled, they'll be back together. So there'll be less risk here after the international break, but still injury, suspension, like all that kind of stuff, rotation could be a real threat during this period. But I do like a good wild card here. So I think that game week 32 makes a lot of sense and that's a big if I can hold on the 10 game weeks or 11 game weeks between now and then to wild card. Then, so wild card 32. Then between 32 and 33 would be the second leg of the European quarterfinals. Then in game week 33, we would have a confirmed double game week. So that'll most likely be the Carabao Cup final blankers, or it could be the FA Cup semi-finals. So the following game week. So you got a big double, game week 33, that's when you could bench boost. And then in game week 34, is the FA Cup semi-finals. So that's going to be another blank game week. But because they are semi-finals, there will be more teams potentially blanking than in the Carabao Cup final. So that's why I thought that a free hit around this time would make more sense, because we know for sure that the Carabao Cup final, there'll be just 2 Premier League teams blanking. Whereas in the FA Cup semi-finals, there could be 4 Premier League teams blanking, or maybe more, given the disruption. And sorry, yeah, there could be more blanks, but anyway, just based on the number of fixtures, I feel like your free hit would serve you better by covering more blanks in game week 34. Obviously, with free hits, some people like to play their free hits in double game weeks. So they'd be a bit more aggressive and try and navigate blanks. That's obviously a strategy, but anyway, that's just what I'm initially thinking. Then between 34 and 35, we have the full set of European semi-final first legs, and then 35 and 36 is the second legs. And then game week 36 has also been flagged as a potential double game week. That could be the impact of the semis. And then game week 37 is the FA Cup final weekend. So that will most likely be a blank game week. I don't know why that's a potential. Oh, because obviously if 2 Premier League teams don't, if no Premier League teams get to the final, which is highly unlikely. So that's a potential, but very probable blank in 37. You then have the Europa League final randomly between 37 and 38. And then the Conference League and the Champions League are played after game week 38. But this is the snapshot of the second half of the season. Obviously a long way to go. And I know, Austin, we've got you in the chat. You are wildcarding. If your team really needs it, then by all means, wildcard, and you can work towards these blank and double game weeks. But I'm going to do my very best to try and I think so, yeah, Savio. 33 is likely the biggest double and 34 the biggest blank. I think so. I don't know. I'll be very transparent and say that a lot of these potential blanks and doubles are going off the Ben Crellin planner. He's obviously in the know, and Ben Crellin is, you know, the oracle at all things blanks and doubles. But as I understand it, 33, you just move the disrupted game week 34 fixtures into that midweek slot, and then you'd extend the 33 game week. So that's where the doubles would come. So teams would most likely just have their 34 fixture moved into 33 midweek, and then they'd play 33, 34 double, and then they're blank for the FA Cup semi-finals. So that's why I would be tempted to try and use your bench boost to maximize the most amount of doubles in 33, and then your 3 hit in 34. But look, team, you know, we will know infinitely more even as every game week goes by. Even as we move to game week 22, the FA Cup third round will be played. So teams will get potentially knocked out or progress. And then the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-finals. So I would have thought that by kind of game week 30, we'll have a much clearer view, because the 5th round would have been played of the FA Cup, and we know who'll be playing in the Carabao Cup final. Even by game week 25, 24, 25, when the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-finals are played, we'll know who'll be blanking in game week 31. But yeah, as it stands. So that's just my first view. I will reference this slide probably every week, because unlike the first half of the season, most chips could just be played when we fancied the fixtures, or when we thought we had a decent bench, you could just play it. We can now be a lot more strategic in the second half of the season and really look to hammer home our advantage. I really like the idea of a 32 wildcard, because for me, the wildcard is all about trying to maximize the gains, but also make sure that your team is as fresh as possible for the run in. So there's been seasons previously where some folks have spoken about wildcarding in like a game week 35 to make the most of these potential doubles and blanks, or even as early as kind of 25, 28. I feel like 32 feels like a really nice sweet spot, because you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can get 7 game weeks out of your wildcard. And I usually try and plan a wildcard between 4 to 6 game weeks ideally. So that's a really nice run. You can then tee your team up for a big double in 33 and bench boost. You can then free hit out of that in 34. And then you can, and actually for the wildcard, you can remove 34, because if you're able to free hit. So actually all you're doing is planning for a 6 game week wildcard. So what you can do is, I'm going to look to try and be quite frugal with my transfers up until around kind of the next couple of game weeks. And then as you get into this potential double game week period, you could be quite aggressive with transfers. Dead end your team into 31 for the blanks, and then wildcard out of that. So that sequence actually works really nicely as a strategy. So that would be my advice. Right now, we're in game week 21. A lot of football going to be played every midweek. You've got, you know, Europe, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. Try and be conservative. And I think it's Chelsea's nice fixture run kicks off around 22 or 23. Try and be a bit conservative to save transfers, so you can start getting into Chelsea assets around 23. Maybe Bruno Fernandes is back. Man United might have a new manager bounce. Chelsea the same. You never know. Teams might start to drop points, start to pick up points, and then they might start prioritizing different competitions. They might start going after cups and deprioritizing the league. You just don't know at this point in the season, but try and build up as many free transfers as you can, and then you can be aggressive around this run with the transfers. Dead end your team into Carabao Cup final blank game week 31, wildcard out of it in 32, bench boost in game week 33 for the big double, free hit 34, navigate those blanks, and then you're on a nice run all the way through to the end of the season. Yeah, it does. Feels like a long time away. And I think 32 is April, because this is around the Easter break. So Easter in this year is early, first week of April. So 31 is Carabao Cup is always last weekend of March, right? So if there's an international break, game week 32 isn't going to be till mid-April. That's a long time in FPL world. A lot is going to happen. But anyway, that's just my hot take and my initial thoughts. I literally did this slide earlier today. Spent most of my morning doing this. I find this stuff super helpful just to like encourage me to be more patient with my transfers. I went a bit crazy over Christmas and it just blew up in my face. I was just spending transfers left, right, and center, and none of them paid off. Mainly my Everton punts. So I'm really going to try and focus on being a bit more frugal with my free transfers. And the other thing, I was reading a book over the Christmas period when I had a bit of downtime, and it was talking about the importance of not trying to chase necessarily the shiny new thing. Like for me, it was I was trying to get Cunha in, and then Ekitike, and I was trying to just go after the next big player that I feel like was going to haul. But what I failed to do was I was then ignoring the weakest parts of my team. And FPL, in my opinion, like most team sports, is one based on how weak your weakest link is, apart from how, rather than how strong your strongest player is. Like you could have Haaland, but like 10 other players that are rubbish, and you're not going to win FPL, or do well in FPL. Whereas if you focus on the lowest scoring players or the real problems in your team and try and fix those, and ideally you want to be bringing in then players that you think have high upside as well. Because I got stung because I was chasing the new shiny thing, and then I didn't have a full playing bench over the Christmas period. So I had like 2 or 3 game weeks where I only had 10 playing players because I didn't fix the flagged players that I had in my team. Anyway, that's my monologue over. Hope it was helpful, and I can share this slide. I'll be posting this on X as well. Now, back to the task in hand. We move. How did everyone do in 20? I got 69. I got lucky with Chow and Thiago getting me 34 points. Van de Ven as well was my transfer in. So that was another good example. I thought that Van de Ven was like a really boring move. I didn't really want to do it. And I could have gone big and gone shiny, but I did Richards to Van de Ven and he got me 7 points. Obviously, Keane blanked. But had I not have done that, I would have had, again, only 10 players. So really happy that I just stuck to my guns and got Van de Ven in. Everyone makes mistakes, my friend. It's important to remember that also, as long as you are clear about why you're making the decision, we have no control over the outcomes. We're essentially just picking, players. It's a gamble. We can influence our decision and we can make an informed decision. And as long as I can say, I brought this player in for these reasons, if he goes on and blanks or gets a red card, you could say that's a mistake. But if you are constantly beating yourself up for the outcome has nothing to do with us. We're all about the input. We can make inputs to our decision-making process and back ourselves that way. After we've picked our team, they're going to go and do whatever they do. If you back them, great. And if they blank, then that just kind of is what it is. So that's what I needed to do. And I got into a cycle over the Christmas period of I was just chasing my tail because it was Grealish and then he didn't show up, and then I got rid of him and it was Keane, and then Keane didn't show up, and I just got into a bit of a cycle. So I'm just trying to take a bit of time to step back and trust the process. Hey, Mr. Knuckles, how are you, my friend? Welcome back. Xavier, 50 points, very good. Oh, you got Gabriel, nice. And Miley's doing well for you, which was good. Oh, Bowen got you something? Rogers as well? Yeah, so Rogers was the transfer that I was really tempted to make last week. But instead I did Van de Ven, who got me 7 points. Rogers got 5, but then I would have also had to have downgraded Wilson, who got me 6 points. So that was a good example of being net. But anyway, it all comes out in the wash. What's everyone thinking about this game week? I am going to roll. Is anyone making any transfers? And does anyone want to have another debate about Haaland? Yeah, exactly. And again, Savio, that's a brilliant point. I, for weeks and weeks and weeks, had been planning to downgrade Thiago. He was part of my big plan to move to a 3-5-2 or a 4-4-2. And it was only because I had bigger fires in other parts of my team that I held Thiago, and obviously he got me that 17 pointer, which I'm very grateful for. But you could argue that there was a big element of luck in that one as well. But anyway, that's just FPL. I did just want to rage transfer Minte out just because he's been such a troll, but he survives another week or two potentially as he just plummets in price. Does anyone want to table a captain alternative, or do we back a forever blanking Haaland? Let's hear you, Saba. I keep calling you Saba. Is that okay, my friend? Is it Saban? Sabanonda? Sabanonda? Who's your captaincy pick this week then, Saba? Shabani Nonda. Very good. Oh, he played for Blackburn back in the day. Okay, Shabani, I remember that. Haaland is enough of other stuff going on to risk captain as well. Yeah, I agree, Savio. Just keep it simple. Was only as Ekitike issues well. So the Ekitike update from Slot. Well, firstly, we're not going to have one from Slot because I think their press conference is happening tomorrow. But he kind of said it. So he initially said it was DOMS because he's been like delayed onset muscle soreness, which because he's been playing a lot of minutes, and so he was rested. And then he went for a scan on his hamstring, and then something came up, and that thing is minor but still enough to potentially keep him out against Arsenal. So I wouldn't be. I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts. I wouldn't be surprised if he's benched. They have Gakpo back now. So I don't know. Arsenal away. What, Mr. Knuckles? How else does your? Sorry, let me rephrase. Who are your other options off your bench instead of Ekitike? Like you'll see, for me, I've got like the flag on Ekitike for me kind of takes a decision out of my hands, because when I was looking at my team, I was kind of wondering, should I just bench Ekitike anyway? So for me, it actually helps a bit to have him flagged. So I'm just going to stick him on my bench there. But who else would your benching options be? Or who would you look to start over him? I think I think it's always quite bold, brave captaining a defender. I think if you're going to do it, I'd do Gabriel because he's so talismanic, 2 goals in 2, and he's back. Liverpool at home's probably not the fixture I would do it. And, you know, Arsenal have been shipping goals recently. Gabriel's done okay because he's been able to score. But, I mean, look, Gabriel's delivered the last 2 game weeks. He's a man on fire. So I think it'd be brave, and if it came up for you, fair play. I'm benching Ekitike, fully fit. Ekitike will find it tougher. Okay. Yeah, I agree, Xavier. I'm actually kind of glad he's flagged, because I probably would have had a headache on my hands, but I'm pleased that. All right, let's have a look at your team, Mr. Knuckles. You did well. 63 is great points. Yeah, you got Guardiola injury, haven't you? And Mr. Knuckles, I actually checked your team, and I saw that you'd benched Hall, and I told you to start Hall instead of Dorgu, didn't I? At least double Spurs came off here, and at least you played Chow. If you'd have benched Chow, that would have been really painful. So, Mr. Knuckles, you've got a nice midfield 5. Actually, who does Saka have? It's away at Brentford. That's not an awful fixture. I knew it meant to. Yeah, 5 points. It could have been much worse. Yeah, it's a good team. Mr. Knuckles, how many transfers do you have? Because I believe Gabriel is going to be out long term. So if you can afford Gabriel, I'd get Gabriel in. Okay. And how much do you have in the bank? I wouldn't be taking a hit for Rice, personally. I think that for you, Mr. Knuckles, next week would be a really nice time to do. Oh, wow. Okay. You're flush. Yeah, I would do. Oh yeah, I looked at your team last time and I wondered how you had so much cash. It's because you don't have any Arsenal apart from Raya, and you don't have Saka, you don't have Foden, you have Shirky instead of Foden. Okay, cool. So I would do Gabriel to Gabriel, and then I would play which 2 to play with? Yeah, Mr. Knuckles, I would then play Hall and Chow, because they're Leeds at home, aren't you? You'd play Hall, Chow, Gabriel, probably Van de Ven, and then play your midfield 4 as they are, and then you do 4-4-2. Yeah, that's what I'd do. I wouldn't be doing Rice this week for a hit. I'd do Rice next week for Semenyo. Which 2 to play of Miley, Xhaka, and Anderson? Currently benching Anderson. I think I said this to you last week, Xavier. I wonder about Miley's minutes. Oh, he played 90, didn't he? Yeah. Because Livramento and Trippier are in the squad back, Miley could just get dropped. And then who does Anderson have? Fulham at home to Chelsea. That's a really tough one. Honestly, that's really close. I'd be tempted to play. I'd be tempted to bench Miley. It's a really tough one because if he starts, he could do well, but I just worried that he would be benched and then come on for like 10 minutes and get you a 1-pointer. Whereas at least Anderson could get you like 3-4 points, even if they concede, and possibly more if they keep a clean sheet. You don't know how Chelsea are going to be with new. They obviously looks good away at City, and then you know Xhaka. He's going to play, and he's going to play some role in Sunderland if they do score. No, I wouldn't be selling Virgil. I'd hold Virgil. If he's got a benching headache, I wouldn't sell Virgil. I'd hold Virgil for Burnley at home and then sell him. Harris Dar, hello, my friend. Welcome to the stream. Miley, Wilson, Olafi. Is that to start? I believe if it's to start, I would start Harry Wilson. Oh, start 2, bench 1. Yeah. I would definitely start Wilson. I would, similar with Miley, it's very hard because Miley either starts and he gets over 60 minutes and potentially a clean sheet and maybe a bonus point. Whereas Wilson and Lafi will play 90. Oh, that's a really difficult one, lads. Yeah, that's a coin toss for me. I think you need to trust your gut on the Miley one. I don't know enough about. I wish we had a Newcastle fan on the stream. Who's the first fixture tonight? It's West Ham Forest. No one cares about that. Let's see if I can find something on any lineup predictions. That's Leeds. Jacob Murphy's had a scan. Anthony Langer's on it. Livramento earned minutes from the bench GW20 and offers Howe an option to rotate Lewis Hall. Kieran Trippin's phone were an unused substitutes at the weekend. Okay, so he rotated Livramento and Hall. And I know Hall was struggling with something. And Trippier and Botman were unused. So the risk with Miley is that because Livramento got minutes, Livramento just comes in and starts at right back. If Trippier hasn't seen any minutes, then I would say that Miley starts at right back. Maybe that's the combination that Howe now sees, is that his rotating left options are Livramento and Hall, and his right back options are Trippier and Miley. Very hard. Okay, Harristar, if you think Miley starts, then I'd play Miley and Wilson and probably bench Lafi. Yeah, I agree, Savio. Hold Virgil and play him for Burnley. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Miley's obviously a midfielder by trade, so we should take on Dorgu, new manager. Very hard tonight. I think considering I think considering the price, you can kind of you can expect not to expect much from Dorgu. I think he was good for the fixtures that he was brought in. I think you play him. Actually, yeah, you've got loads of options, haven't you? You could quite easily play Dorgu at home. Yeah, I wouldn't get too excited about Man United, Mr. Knuckles, because Darren Fletcher's gonna be the interim. There's like rumors about Solskjaer coming back. Like, just feels like Groundhog Day, honestly. I'd start Dorgu against Burnley because I just think they're so light on options. Oh, I forget Dorgu got that 17-pointer against Newcastle. That's what, yeah. And then go and draw against Leeds and. Oh, geez, this has crept up on me. See, I could just talk for hours. I just love talking about FPL. All right, team, we have 6 minutes until the deadline. I just have a request for you. If you've not liked the stream, please hit like. I've also, and if you've not subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. I've also posted at the top a link. The pinned comment at the top is a link to my FPL Holy League. If you'd like your team reviewed easily on the next live stream, then please join. Oh, here we go. We've got new entries here. So Emmanuel Ibifash and Lautaro Martinez, Bruno Magnifico. Right, team. 5 minutes ago before the deadline. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I really hesitant to start Van der Ven because I don't foresee any clean sheets. Actually, yeah, Mr. Knuckles, sorry, I forgot that Dorgu has a nice fixture. I would play Dorgu over Van der Ven. And your team is actually looking. That's really tough. Okay, so pros and the cons. Lafy is a guaranteed starter, and he's a 90-minute man. He's on set pieces. I don't know if this whole Ekitike thing might be kind of mind games a bit from Slot. But I kind of tend to agree with Savio's comment earlier about Ekitike, again, even fully fit against that Arsenal defence with Gabriel back. Like, it was going to be tough. Liverpool have struggled to create chances. That's a really tough one. That's a coin toss. My advice would be with that one, Bruno, is have a think about how you want to play the game. If you want to chase upside, I'd go Ekitike because he's got a higher ceiling. But it could also be a 1-pointer off the bench or a complete no-show. Lafy is, let's be honest, between 2 to 6 points, maybe. Away at Brentford. Tough one. I'm not sure about your personal position, Bruno, but if you were really aggressively looking to chase rank, go with Ekitike and then have Lafy first off your bench. If you're quite happy with the rank and you're looking to consolidate, I'd probably start Lafy. All right, team, we have 3 minutes to go. I'm surprised no one's mentioned Cunha as a captaincy shout. Like Burnley have got one of the worst defences. I wonder if that's true. Home expected goals conceded. Yeah, they've got the second worst. But actually, they're overperforming the XGC. So their expected goals conceded at home is 1.6 goals a game, but they're actually only conceding a goal a game. So they're actually performing. They're overperforming their expected goals conceded, but even so, you might get a pen even if you guys. Yeah, exactly. No, I just got into with I think I'll just stay with the fit. Yeah. Yeah, 350 green arrow. That's amazing. Well done. Yeah, if you're happy and you just want to consolidate, I'd go Luffy. Oh, Shabani. Fair play to you. If that comes off, first off, as an Arsenal fan, I'll be delighted. But yeah, fortune favours the brave. 1 minute till the deadline, team. I am all locked in. Didn't need to make any changes this week. And team, I'm going to need to jump straight away as soon as this deadline passes. But yeah, best of luck, team. What are we thinking? Newcastle Leeds will be interesting. How City bounce back against their draw. I wonder if Brighton might be onto a hiding, but they need to get something clicking with Haaland. Haaland blanking 3 games in a row now. And then, yeah, obviously Arsenal Liverpool is the huge one on Thursday night. That would be a great game. Yeah, huge call. I'm a big fan of that captaincy. All right, team, that's the deadline passed. Thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate you taking the time. Again, if you've not liked the stream, please hit that like button. If you've not hit subscribe to FPL Holly, then please do it if you find this valuable. I try and do as many live streams as I possibly can. And we don't have a game week this coming weekend because of the FA Cup. And then I'll get videos uploaded as normal, probably from early next week after this game week 21 is done. Good luck, everyone. Best of luck in game week 21. And I'll catch you on the other side. Ciao for now.